And welcome to today's podcast. What's the title of this podcast?
The
Well, who
Random
cares?
Podcast of
The
Awesomeness.
Random Podcast of Awesomeness.
This podcast is shit. And here I will welcome your host. To my left, Corbinic XC. Meow. To my right, what's his face? Cloud something.
Quad something, yes.
Okay, and to the front of me, who I am glaring at with hatred, Gerd at 14.
Yo, persons.
And right beneath me,
Right beneath you.
Chaplin. Don't be so
Don't
don't be
ask
so-
why I'm right beneath him.
God, don't be so frisky. So this podcast today, we are discussing a very special game. If you thought that the rage shot from this podcast, from our review of Out of This World, wasn't ragey enough, we have a surprise for you this week. This week, we are talking about Astyanax.
We're talking about the game
actually.
Astyanax.
Astyanax. Or however the fuck it's pronounced. It's a Greek hero of some fame.
Astyanax for the NES.
Yeah.
How does this game deserve to be pronounced?
Astyanax.
It definitely deserves to be pronounced, but I don't care enough to actually do it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Astyanax it is.
Okay then.
We are
Why don't we
taxing
just call it
everybody back.
Neurotoxin again?
I will
What?
put the name in the description.
Yes. Also Astyanax. Greek mythology. Shit.
Yeah, who is Astyanax? Isn't
Right.
it now?
I've just Googled
So-
Astyanax, and I'll read the Google page, the Wikipedia page. In Greek mythology, Astyanax is the son of Hector, crown prince of Troy, and princess Andromache of Cilician Thebe. His birth name was Scamandrius, after the river Scamander. But the people of Troy nicknamed him Astyanax, i.e. High King or Overlord of the city, because he was the son of the city's great defender and heir apparent firstborn son. Yeah.
So this guy is famous for being some other dude's kid.
Yeah.
No, he
Well, there's more to this.
He was probably involved in the Battle of Troy.
You guys want me to read this?
Not
The Trojan War.
So anyway,
He might have been somewhat involved, but
No, there's more to it, girl. I just didn't read it because, frankly, you guys can Google it the motherfucking shit yourself. Okay? Okay, viewers, stop being lazy. Just Google it. Fucking tired of all of you.
So, as far as I'm concerned, this game has significance because it makes reference to the Trojan War, and if it wasn't for the Trojan War, we would not have that oh-so-lovable brand of prophylactics, Trojan.
I hope you realize that half of our just completely... That shit just went over their head, or they don't give a fuck, or they're all high. Probably all high. The level of lucidity that you have to feel to listen to this podcast is pretty high.
Why'd it gotta be such a Debbie Downer?
Debbie Cats, that's why.
Burke is a Debbie cat. He is a Debbie cat.
Because if I create a certain amount of lack of excitement for this podcast, that raises the bar for our fans' expectations.
Perhaps.
Oh, Burke the troll.
So this game, just get on with it. Get on with the minutia.
All right. Shadow, you want to cover story?
so
Yeah, please do.
you are Astyanax.
Ass tax.
You are sent to this world by gosh.
The story is so convoluted and stupid that even Shadow can't even.
No, I'm just trying to think of her name.
Oh, you're
Alright,
sent
I
back
guess
by the princess chick, whose name is
Princess Zelda.
Not
No,
Zelda.
Not at all.
Basically the Zelda story,
It's not exactly a
Princess
Zelda
not
story.
kinda, but not all the way.
So anyway, you're sent to the world in order to save your girlfriend.
Okay, I'll just read it.
Not our girlfriend.
She's not your girlfriend. There's no rom. Well, okay, never mind. But yeah, it's basically in this game you are a 16-year-old high school student who, yeah, and they also mentioned you go to Greenview High School. Lol.
They
And
do
you're
mention that. Yeah.
So he has his dreams every single night of a princess calling for help. And then, one day while he's walking to school, he gets in one little fight.
His mom gets scared.
Yeah.
Said, you remember with your aunt and uncle in West Philadelphia?
I saw that coming from
That's my leave.
like a few seconds before you said it.
Well, yeah, you should have, because...
We should have birthed obvious and didn't
Yeah,
know what you're talking about.
this podcast and I am predictable.
So anyway,
Yeah. And then you are set by Remlia, you scrub. No, that's a realm, actually, Remlia. Damn, what's her
Yes.
name? Oh, yeah, Rosebud.
Yes, that's her name. Princess
yes,
Rosebud.
Princess Rosebud. That's it.
Been
Yes.
kidnapped by a Blackhorn.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
The evil warlock or warlord Blackhorn. You know, I don't think they give him a title.
I think it's Blackhorn, actually.
Yeah, it is Blackhorn.
Just Blackhorn, though? No title?
I don't think there is anything appended to it.
Damn.
Well, actually, he's not sent back by the princess. He's sent back by the pixie, Cutie. Which
Yes.
is a great name.
Yes, Cutie. Guess what her role is?
Cutie's a pixie. Ah, snap.
Oh yeah.
But she will not be telling you to listen every 5 seconds.
Which is a good thing.
Yes. So, now we've gotten past this god-awful story with the extremely long, annoying cutscenes that don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Granted, they don't actually matter, but I like the cutscenes.
You would, Doctor. That's...
For an NES game, it's not bad for the cutscenes, but
Yeah, but the cutscenes are so mind-numbingly and stupid that I just tune it out and just wait for the game to continue. But it doesn't. You just the text just scrolls so slow, just slow text scrolling on the screen.
Very slow text from what I've seen.
But yeah, the gameplay. So it is up to you, Astyanax or Astyanax, if you will, to go through, to traverse this place and defeat Blackhorn's minions and rescue the princess for some reason. I don't know what he's going to gain out of this, but he's doing it.
He's going home.
right.
He doesn't know that at the beginning, though.
No, that's seriously what he wants. He asks Cutie how he can get home, and she says, well, I can't send you home on my own. I would need to help Princess Rosebud. That's why he's saving her, so he can go home.
Okay, there we go. So, I completely ignored the beginning. I only want to watch the latter half cutscenes, which made even less sense. Because I'm like, why are these people here? Who the fuck is this? Who's Rosebud?
I must say, this sounds a lot like the Wizard of Oz, except with Greek mythology.
Actually,
Yeah.
Astyanax is probably the only reference to Greek mythology in this game.
Well,
No,
not
the second
really,
boss
because
is
there's
Medusa. I saw that.
Is it boss?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2. Anyone
more.
care to list any others?
There's probably a shit ton. I just don't know. I'm not a Greek mythology scholar like Cloud, apparently.
Like me. I don't
Or
know
Core.
shit about Greek mythology.
Yeah. What's your problem, Cloud? God. So, gameplay. Jesus fucking Christ. God. Gameplay.
Now, we've all heard the phrase Nintendo hard. We all have seen games that are Nintendo hard.
This game is not hard.
This game,
We've all known that I'm hard.
Burke is the only one of us that actually managed to finish this game without cheating.
Yeah.
Except me. I beat it without cheating.
'Cause I'm broken.
No, you were at the boss's doorstep.
So this is the part of the
That doesn't count as
podcast
beating it.
where I stroke my ego for the next half an hour.
So
Yeah,
I actually did play this as a kid. This is one of my childhood memories of playing
Really?
this
This is
game.
one of your childhood memories.
And when I was a kid, it was one of the worst, evilest games I ever played.
Even more evil than Grand Theft 14.
Ghouls and goblins.
Even more
Well,
so.
here's the thing. The game, at its roots, the gameplay is ridiculously simple. You are random warrior A. You need to get to location B. By using attack C, you can actually, progress through and slay enemies D. Reapply formula until end of game. At its core, that's what it is. This is ridiculously simple. Its execution, however, makes this Nintendo hard.
Well, see, when you say execution, in my mind, a lot of things I mentioned this yesterday that this game isn't really hard. Part of it's hard because the developers want it to be hard, but part of it is just because some gameplay elements are fucking botched so badly that it just makes it more difficult. Case in point being the hitboxes in this game are so
Your
bad.
hitbox isn't actually your sprite. Your hitbox is the rectangle that your sprite is in.
Well, it's just the way you hit detection, like the way you hit enemies and the way enemies hit you. It seems like so weird. It's not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point being one of the second boss, you actually have to hit her from a few, or hit it, whatever the hell it is, from a few feet away more than you would the other bosses, just because if you don't, you will get hit, and you'll be wondering why I get hit, how I get hit.
Yeah, that would be her claw attack.
Yeah.
All the bosses in this game have a claw attack that prevents you from getting up too close. And yet, if you stand just outside that range, you should be able to still pummel her regardless of your weapon choice.
Yeah, but that is really one of the underlying reasons this game is difficult is because of, I think, that lack of polish. It's not polished.
Yeah, hitboxes in this game are really wonky.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of things like the enemy spawning is, I won't say it's bad.
We also have Mega Man style enemy spawning.
It's your standard spawn, but there's obviously there's a lot of parts where the enemies just continue to spawn and spawn and spawn until you move forward.
Yeah, what
And
you
it's
don't
also the
want to
fact
do
that-
in this game, you don't want to
Go
go
back.
left.
Yeah, don't go back because the enemies will spawn again, and then when you go forward, they'll stay there, and then you'll be ganked by enemies from the back and the front.
Yep.
Do the enemies
much.
drop anything?
No, I don't think they. I don't think they do.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that you
They do?
enemies for is points. And every 50,000
Wait.
points?
Does that mean drop actual items?
No, they don't
Yeah,
drop
exactly. They
items.
don't drop items. So you're not dropping points. You're receiving points for slaying.
Yes.
So
Because
anyway,
that's what. Yeah. So yeah, that is mostly one of the reasons why the game is hard. But what I will say is that the game is kind of fun.
Granted, when the game isn't outright kicking your ass and sticking it up into a vacuum cleaner, this game is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, and the music. Well, there's really not that much variety in the music. The actual main theme is pretty catchy.
I have to admit that. I wasn't really bobbing my head to anything, and I don't really remember most of the soundtrack, but it was there, and it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, it's because
It
there's
made
a lot of
me feel
variety.
like I was out on an adventure trying to save a princess.
I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 different songs in the game. I'm not sure, but the
It's
most.
not that varied, but again, it's not that memorable, so it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me that it's not that varied.
although
mean,
I
the-
will say that I actually did enjoy the sections where the boss was.
Yeah, some of the honestly, it's weird because the first boss is really easy. The second and third boss, I think, are probably the hardest ones. All the bosses after that seem to get easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like after that, I died on the bosses maybe once or twice throughout. So yeah, they get progressively easier, it seems, or maybe it's just me. I'm not sure.
Now, this is a case of Mario. This is a case of Mario style platforming where the levels themselves are actually ridiculously difficult at times, and the bosses are eh.
Yeah, some of the levels are really hard. Like the five, and some of the 4 levels are really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bosses, because each level has mini bosses and then the actual boss. And the thing that annoys me about some of the mini bosses are designed in a way that it seems almost impossible to dodge the attack, and their only purpose is to soften you up for the boss fight. Case in point being one enemy that is literally like a big red blob. I don't know, it's not even a blob, a big red hulking golem thing that I really do not believe you can dodge attack. You literally have to spam attack it while it will go towards the left of the screen and try to minimize the damage it does, because apparently you can't dodge
Is
attack.
that the rock thrower or the boulder boss or the boulder mini
I
boss?
think it's the boulder mini boss.
Yeah, the one that's a sprite recolor of the first one.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually dodge that attack.
You can actually.
Well,
I mean, I don't think you can
you
dodge
can,
it. Like,
but it's mostly luck.
like you're stuck there. Like, I mean, you can't jump on a higher platform. It's just you are on the even plane with that thing, and it is too big to jump over.
True.
That's
However,
what she said.
Yes,
the key for that particular mini boss, I think, will end up coming across later.
well, the ones later assumes that they are the blob ones that turn to goo and then materialize.
Yeah, I personally don't mind that particular mini boss. That one doesn't seem like it would be that difficult.
Yeah. That usually happens. But
But the reason that I want to bring up why this game is Nintendo hard is the basic enemy layouts in the horizontal scrolling sections. Now, there are two specific breeds of enemies that you will just love to hate in this game. Floor flowers, regardless of their breed, there are two different types of floor flowers in this game, and airborne enemies. The reason is a lot of the airborne enemies are really small, and you take normal damage when you get hit by them, plus of course, of the classic Nintendo hard, you get hit and you get knocked back. So jumping over a platform, missing your strike, and getting hit by a small enemy will inevitably knock you into a bottomless pit. However, there are times, such as with the floor flowers, where attempting to jump over them, landing on them, will knock you back, sending into a bottomless pit. Or attempting to jump over them to get on the platform on the other side, you shouldn't be trying this anyway because you can't jump that far, will get you hit by their projectiles, which aren't even firing when you're trying to jump over, and then you'll get knocked into the bottomless pit.
yeah, that is
floor flowers.
see that is another complaint. That's why I kept thinking about Ghosts and Goblins, because in Ghosts and Goblins, a lot of times you'll jump, and in midair, an enemy will come out of nowhere and smack you and knock you down, and you can't do anything about it.
Right.
So it's one of those stupid gaming conventions that I can't stand, where the game feels it has to teach you through sheer brutality by just slamming your face into the dirt over and over again. That
Not supposed to do this, you noob.
yeah, you're not supposed to jump over to another ledge. You're supposed to go on the edge of this ledge, pretend you're going to jump over, wait for something to spawn if it does, and if it doesn't, then you go forward. I hate that. It's so stupid.
And then after that, oh look, it spawned.
Yeah, God. And it's not helped by the fact that, the questionable hit detection,
Want to start a card
Right.
which just makes it worse.
Now,
this time?
as Astyanax, you are given the magical sword bash.
Wait, I have a quick question. This was an arcade game before it was
Yes, it was
an NES. Has anybody played the actual arcade version here?
It would ate my quarters, and I never saw it, so no.
You, Shadow Wolf?
No, I don't think I have played the arcade version.
'Cause it looks a little bit different, obviously.
Well, again, it's on an arcade system. It should look a little bit different, at
Yeah.
least better.
Those look better. It has a kind of like something. It looks like goddamn that RPG game, Golden Axe, Golden Sun,
Golden Axe.
kinda a little
Golden
bit.
Axe.
It has that kind of color palette.
So yeah, that would have actually looked a lot better, because I guess we're moving on to graphics now. The graphics in this aren't bad. You can always see your character. The backgrounds look fine and very themic. But
The enemies are kind of big.
Huh?
The enemies are kind of big.
Yes, the enemies are rather obscenely large. Almost all the enemies in this game, including the freaking floor flowers, are the size of you are.
Yeah, it's
So trying to kill these guys becomes a chore because
that's why I was
well,
complaining. Because of the size of the enemies, you can't jump over them.
yeah. Since you can't, well, your jump doesn't even take you up to your head. It just takes you
Yeah.
about halfway up your sprite. So you can't actually jump over these guys. By the way, your character model and everyone else is actually pretty big in this game. So
Then,
yeah, I hope you weren't. I hope you guys weren't trying to use bullet hell dodging, because it don't work.
yeah, it doesn't work. Although I will say there is some finesse to this game. I mean, certain levels you kind of are forced to use a little bit of finesse. Like the Medusa fight, you have to perfectly time your hits on her and then turn left fast enough to
To
hit
hit
the little snake things.
Mhm.
And the first few times I fucked it up just because I would try to roll left in the middle of an attack, so it wouldn't accept my input, which ended up
Right.
with me getting hit by the snake and then getting hit by Medusa right afterwards.
hmm
That was fun.
Now, I was such a pansy that I had to play that I couldn't get past the first level, regardless of the times that I tried it.
Yeah, Gerda hasn't
So
actually beaten this game. He cheated.
yes, I played through this game. I will never claim that I beat it though. Um, I went on GameFAQs and I actually got the invincibility cheat, which is relatively easy to put in. It just took me a few tries to do it. And even I can see that the amount of bullshit that they expect you to kill and or dodge in this game is freaking ridiculous. We were talking about graphics at some point, weren't we?
Well, it wouldn't make sense if this was an arcade game. It'd just be a contest to see who could get the farthest without actually beating it.
That's
Well, I beat
true.
it, so all of you lose. Yeah. All of
Yes, Burke has proven that when he does finish a game, he's usually the best at it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's kind of weird. Out of all the games we've been playing on this podcast, the two I've beaten are probably the
Or
hardest
the
games.
hardest games that we've played. Yeah, Out of This World has got a janked up difficulty curve because you don't know what the fuck to do most of the time.
Well,
And
yeah,
this game-
kind of like this. Well, this game is simplistic, but Out of This World just it was just the fact that a lot of times the one or two buttons you would use had multiple uses that were
Right.
just one-time uses, and you didn't know what you were supposed to be doing. Speaking of just
multiple,
yeah,
speaking of multiple uses, Astyanax is not alone. Is not really alone on his quest to go save Princess Rosebud. Because he's equipped with the magical axe Bash, a really inventive name, I
Yes.
know. The Bash has the ability to change into one of three weapons, depending on depending on what part of the
Axe,
game you have
sword, and
to pick
sword.
up the transformation on.
excellent.
It can be either an axe, a spear, or a sword. I've never seen a spear.
I was about to ask you that, Jordan, because
Yeah,
the fairy, right? You know the fairy that what's her face? Cutie. Is it Cutie?
Yeah.
yeah, it's cute.
I actually didn't even know what that did, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, you know what? Because I was using the sword, and I switched it to spear, and it looked the same. It looked the same as a sword.
It
Do
does
that.
look
I
similar
wanna
to the
know.
sword, yeah.
I don't know, because I was curious what it did. I'm like, what is this? I don't understand. So I think I played the entire.
Jack, how do you switch over to the spear?
Yeah, really. Oh shit! I forgot. I left my game running. Whoops.
Well, Shadow,
I'm sorry, what did you say? How do you switch?
how do you switch over to the spear?
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. When you see the little, I want to say like block thing, you hit it, and Cutie gives you the option to switch your weapon.
Yes, she does.
Hmm.
But it doesn't actually, I don't know. It didn't work for me because I tried to switch to the spear and it looked the same.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have a problem with that myself. I got it to work, but
Thing is, I don't know how powerful the spear is, if it's in fact a good weapon or not. But as soon as you can get the sword has got a ridiculously large hitbox, even though its swing doesn't always go through, which is really, really weird.
And also the fact that if an enemy gets close enough to you, sometimes it'll do like a half, kind of like a parry, a sword parry. But again, because of the weird hit detection, you will parry and hit the enemy, but at the same time you will be hurt.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it would hurt you still. Damn.
yeah.
But one thing we haven't mentioned is that you have a bar, which is your
You definitely have
your
an
damage
HP.
bar.
Yes. Throughout the game, you'll acquire these pickups. I think these are like golden power-ups or
Oh no,
something.
I think like a damage bar where like once you hit an enemy, it depletes completely, and that bar
Yes.
determines how much damage you do.
Yeah,
Right.
and throughout the game, you'll pick up these golden power-ups. They'll actually increase the length of that bar.
Oh, it does.
After
Yep.
doing a single attack, the entire bar depletes, and then after a few seconds, it'll recharge the full.
Yeah. There's also the the cutie, because she also gives you the option to up your power, or whatever, right?
Yes.
Or spell. What does that do? Is that for that? Is that for the power bar?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So that's why it was ridiculous.
Because I went through the whole game, and before even getting to the final boss, like halfway through the game, I had a full power bar, and I only got one weapon switch.
I just kept using the other one, the up spell thing. That's probably why my bar seems so ridiculously large.
Yeah, you see, you also, because you have a magical weapon, have this pseudo screen nuke, much like the one that was in Do Re Mi Fantasy, where you'll attack in 8 directions.
That attack is really, 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 really useful.
It is.
It is, but it's limited.
Well, it's you at first when you first start using it, you miss certain enemies because it's not a complete screen nuke. It's definitely not the nuke from Turok 2 that just obliterates everything. But it's a pretty good nuke.
Yes, it's a
Like I
very
said,
good
no.
nuke, but you definitely want to save it for specific enemies.
Yeah.
Like fucking floor flowers.
Yes.
Or when you're
floor
being
flowers
overrun.
especially.
Yeah, that's what I usually do because I don't do feel like dealing with them knocking me off the platform.
It's my platform, and I will stay on this and spam you with nukes.
Actually, one of the boss fights that is really useful for is the armored guy.
Okay.
Because if you hit him with that, you just have to hit him once or twice after that, and his you know how if you hit him enough, you see his skull become red,
Yeah.
like his brain. If you do the up attack on him and then hit him once or twice, you get him just like that. Like in a few seconds, you get the red skull, and if you keep hitting him like with 1 or 2 more nukes, you're pretty close to getting him to the 3rd stage.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, but then again, that's the hardest boss in the
Yeah.
game.
Honestly, with that boss, you use anything you can to defeat
Yes.
that thing.
Evil rock monster. It's like the Mega Man rock monster, only somewhat less difficult than that, I would say.
Yeah, but that fight is pretty difficult.
Yeah. I think we should probably move on to general sound. And I gotta say, the sound here is not bad, but it definitely doesn't really do much out of the ordinary. Of course, enemies
serviceable.
explode. Everything explodes when you kill it, and there's an
Oh, yeah.
actual little explosion sound effect. So it feels nice when you kill things, but
It
other
does.
than that, there's not much really going on here.
Yeah,
It's very generic, even for this age.
it's really generic. Honestly, it's serviceable. It's serviceable. It's not bad. It's just serviceable.
It's not bad at all, but it's definitely bland.
I was actually surprised to see that this game came out in 1990. I thought that was I was expecting, based on just the graphics alone, I was expecting like 83 or 84. This shit.
And yes, they have graphical limitations.
So it was released in 1990 or 1989.
1990.
Okay, and when was it that the Super NES came for?
92, I think.
92. So this is around the end of its lifespan.
Yeah, this
Just
is
about,
around
yeah.
the end of the end.
Yeah, just honestly, around the end of the lifespan, a lot of developers started really figuring out the NES and being able to really push it. Because I think of the Kirby games on NES and in the really cool stuff it was able to do on the NES, and just other games in general. It's like
That's Kirby's Dream Land 3, right?
was that the last NES one that came out? I think.
No. Let me think.
I think it was
The
Kirby.
Kirby-
I can't remember which one it was.
I think the NES one that you're thinking of is Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Yeah,
because Kirby's Dream Land 4 came out on the SNES,
Yeah, but just
and that came out after Superstar Ultra.
it's honestly it's all like now. You see a lot now where the games are really pushing the hardware in like the twilight years of that system's lifespan. Just because after so many years of developing for that console, you figure out tricks to really get the most out of it. And with this game, you look at it, it looks like really early NES.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it looks the NES. I'm gonna say it looks mid-age NES.
But it just looks pretty generic.
It definitely looks generic, but a lot of midlife NES games look really generic.
Yeah.
But don't compare this to any of the Mega Man games, because the Mega Man games for this graphical quality.
Well, honestly, also the Mega Man games are with a Mega Man game. There's a lot bigger budget for creating a game like a Mega Man game.
But even Mega Man 1, which is an experimental thing, it still looked better than this.
Actually, some of the games that the studio did Blaster Master for the Game Boy.
This studio is still actually alive. Which
Yes,
is weird.
yes, they are.
I think Shadow was telling me about this yesterday, and I didn't think much of it at the time. But I'm not sure.
The guys that published and produced this are called Jelco Entertainment.
It's not the developer,
And
right?
their recent stuff, like for the past 5 years or so, have all been Japanese-only console and handheld games.
Yeah, but wasn't it Jelco that published it, and the developers are actually ICOM?
I don't know.
I think it was ICOM that developed this game, and it was Jelco was the publisher. They handled all the distribution and things like that. But they're actually Japanese too.
Let me look that up real quick. I will rock a GameFAQs.
Game facts. You think there'll be a game facts for this?
Yes, I'm a load of GameFAQs for this.
All right, go for it.
There's game facts for everything.
We are very prepared for this podcast.
Yes, we are. While I'm preparing a GameFAQs for this, let's
take a break.
Shit, we're running out of things to actually run through.
Well, I can complain more about the game if needed.
Oh, believe me,
Not
there'll
sure.
be lots of complaining.
I don't know. I like the little main theme for the game. I think it's pretty nifty.
Alright, the release data. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just says it was Jelco.
Okay.
How about a Wikipedia page?
Publisher is definitely Jelco. Let's go to Jelco's Wikia. My God, I'm rocking a wiki and a GameFAQs.
Yes, you are.
How fancy you are, good at. Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
good
this game has
at.
multiplayer?
Damn, son.
Developed. Yes, they developed this.
Who, Jelco?
Yeah, Jelco developed this.
Oh, okay. So,
Actually, they developed the arcade system port.
so they actually
Oh, that's
developed actual.
interesting.
Well, here's the thing. They along with ICOM, apparently developed this.
Okay,
Not
so
to be
it was a
confused.
joint. It was a joint. I guess it was a joint venture.
Yeah. Yeah. ICOM and Jelco jointly developed the at least arcade port of this. And yeah, apparently they collaborated on the NES port too. And my
Also,
God,
Jelco doesn't do video games anymore.
it's awesome.
If you look on their Wikipedia page, they don't do video games anymore.
You know, it's funny.
Actually, they do.
After Mom kicked you out and changed all the
Really?
Jelco.
So it looks like they
Jel-
branched out.
you would sneak into my room and leave little gifts.
Because if you look at their like the current ventures part, they're doing other stuff outside of video games.
Well, they probably are doing other things at the moment.
But it says here that Income Holding is no longer involved at all in the video game business, because in 2006 apparently they decided to become a holding company, renaming themselves to Jelco Holding, and they just axed their video game operations.
Well, the wiki explains why Jelco no longer exists in North America.
Because they weren't all Japanese.
They still have a Japanese division apparently. They made Kazuna for the Wii. I don't know what the fuck it is,
What's
but
that?
it's there. You know, we're getting way the fuck off topic. Back to Astyanax.
I don't care about the discussion.
Because that's my choice.
On top of
My ass tax.
yeah, ass tax. So what else we discuss about this game? We already discussed the shitty hit boxes.
Because I feel cheated.
We already discuss how incredibly easy this game is.
So congratulations.
Well,
Frank.
that I guess we're just going to delve into the complaints that we have at the moment.
Complaints.
Yes.
Mm,
What are
go
our
for it.
complaints? Let me start off.
Yeah,
When
go
I
for
was
it.
a wee little boy, I played this game, and it was one of the games that made me hate and both love this game. At
You
first,
are a sad little boy.
at first, I loathed this game because it was. If you were a little kid, this is a hard game. This is not a game that a little kid picks up and beats.
Right.
This is like for an intermediate type gamer. The platforming, if you don't do it right, is completely horrendous. And especially with the floor flowers, which is like my wolfsbane of the game. I really do hate those floor flowers more than anything else.
We got an anonymous tip.
Yeah, that's probably where my rage was getting the biggest is those floor flowers.
Yeah. The thing is, the floor flowers are a common enemy, and they're still harder to kill and get past than most of the bosses in this game.
See, typically what they do in this game is they have a little platform around two bottomless pits, and in the middle is a floor flower. Now, it is your job to find a way to destroy this floor flower without getting killed.
Yeah.
Mind you, emphasis on without getting killed, because you're going to take some damage. Oh god, are you going to take damage.
Now, the best typical
You have
way...
two options on you. You seriously only have about two options here. Either you crouch at the very edge of the first platform and hope to God you can hit it from your sword from here, or you spam your special attack.
Spam your special attack.
The special attack is
Yeah.
typically the better option in this case. And you have to
Yeah.
time
Yes,
it,
it is.
and you have to time it right. Because if you don't, they
Right,
just go
because-
back down.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's usually what occurs, unfortunately.
because even though you have eight-way directional shooting, you'll learn very quickly that because it's eight-way, there's a lot of holes.
Well, actually, around the end of the game, I became incredibly good at it, where I'll literally nuke the entire field, almost always.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, as long as
'Cause
you're in the
that's-
right positioning, you
If
can
you're in the right
kill everything.
position, the eight-way special really will hit everything on screen.
Yeah, there was a few times where I messed up really bad.
Appropriately.
Usually in the boss fights where I'll mess up and screw it up.
Right, because they only have one particular area that you're supposed to hit.
Yeah.
Have you lost your mind? You're
Yeah. And unlike Gerda, there's no recovery from that. From missing a boss with your special.
Now,
This is true.
as long as you're a seasoned gamer, this is actually a pretty quick game. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Yes.
it might take you a while.
Yeah, if you're decent enough at platforming and action platforming, this shouldn't take you that long. This game is actually pretty short, running around at about 2 or 3 hours.
You'll probably be in this time.
You can beat it in less time once you get familiar with everything, but it's even for good seasoned people, this is still going to be at least a 2-hour game.
But you've already missed
Yeah.
They're gone.
But
On consecutive playthroughs, you stick masochistic fucks. This should take you anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
you think somebody can beat this game in 45 minutes?
I think they could. I don't even think you would need to be tool assisted for that, because if you know where everything is and when to actually use your special attack, and you can take down the bosses really quickly, because to be honest, most of these bosses are ridiculously easy.
Yeah. That's really weird.
No, they're not ridiculously easy. They're challenging to a point where you know that they're challenging, but you can't feel the help that they could be.
They're
more.
challenging enough where you have to pay attention and be on your toes,
Right.
but not enough where you have to sit there mashing your keyboard trying to survive.
Right.
Wait, you play this on keyboard?
I mean, mashing your NES.
Yes, because remember, we do not condone
Yeah, we do not
emulators.
condone We do not condone emulators. So
I do.
Shut up.
Shut up. No, but yeah.
Oh God, damn it.
Need I remind you?
Now, this is a game that does not have a save feature, so you do want to beat it in one day.
Yes.
And I don't even know if there's a password system. I know that there's a continue system, but
No, there is no password system.
This game is meant to be beaten on one sitting.
There is no password
it's
system.
short enough to where you can beat it in one sitting at the very least.
Yeah, or leave your NES on all night and hope to God it doesn't burn your house down.
Which has happened to people
Sorry
before.
about that, Burke.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be buying stuff off the black market anymore.
Probably.
Yeah.
But one of my major complaints, and really the only one that we haven't really covered, is the amount of shit that can pile up on... Well, two, actually. The amount of shit that can pile up on screen is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, no, but the game... Okay, yeah, we forgot to mention that. This game kind of lags. Like, if they're all...
It can't lag if you've got, like, more than any more than 5 or 6 moving sprites on screen, expect the game to lag.
It will lag hard.
It's easy to get that number in a lot of the later stages.
What makes it better is if you pretend that there's a feature of the game, like slow motion.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so I just activated my slow motion feature, so now I can dodge this spear. Though usually doesn't go that way, but you can hope to God it does.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, this game does suffer from some slowdown, but even without the large masses of enemies on screen, the amount of shit you're expected to dodge and still survive, it's ridiculous. Skeletons later on actually get laser beams, even the generic ones. The small floating guys that don't actually try to attack you, but just go back from one area of the screen. Or, my fucking god, the flying eyeballs, which are freaking huge, and I can't hit these fuckers.
Yeah.
Airborne enemies are a nightmare in here, but so are floor flowers. The generic enemies in this game are the real problem. And this leads into my into one of my other major complaints. The bosses aren't. The first boss alone is so easy. When Corb told me that he actually ended up dying at the first boss, he admitted that he was at low health, and because the first stage fucking ripped him apart. But the first boss is so easy. You can juggle his second form. I did it, and the rage hurts, man. The only boss in this game that is actually worth mentioning as being really difficult is boss number 3 or 4, and technically boss 3 and 4 rather. 3 is a rock monster, much similar to a basic golem, except he has 3 stages, and the first 2 have a nigh impossible to dodge attack. If you manage to bring him down to his 3rd stage before he launches that attack, you pretty much got it down. You pretty much got it done, because the bubbles, as far as I was able to tell, aren't so bad to dodge, but they will definitely get annoying. The 4th boss that I noticed was the Trent boss. And the Trent boss is both easy and difficult if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. The Trent boss shoots out these seedlings that grow into vines right when they get on top of you. And I don't know if them actually stopping to hit you the first time is when they grow or not.
Which one? Which boss?
The Trent boss.
Trent boss?
The tree.
The living tree.
Oh. Huh. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, this is because, depending on what your playstyle is, he is really, really hard or really easy. Even the final boss of this game, the last, 3 bosses
easy as hell.
all have time stop. They seriously all can stop time, but none of them capitalize on it. They try to, like the last boss's 2nd and 3rd forms, try to capitalize on it, and then you just dodge it. So yeah, when normal enemies are bigger threats than most of the bosses, I don't like that. And my final major complaint about this game, only half of it is ridiculously difficult. The horizontal scrolling stages are a hell of a lot more difficult than the vertical scrolling ones.
Yes.
And that's sad, because if you recall, most platformers, it's totally the other way around. Vertical scrolling stages have some of the jankiest enemy placement ever conceived.
Yeah.
And yet, these vertical scrolling levels actually have forgiving enemy placement, and their attacks take so long to actually execute. You can seriously kill these Nagas long before they even try to attack you.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, only half this game is trying to kill you. The other half is trying to say, yo, play me, finish me, and then you can move on with your life.
That is true. I had that same thought.
It's so nightmarish.
In the last level, the maze level, which I hate. I hate that level.
Yeah.
But I will say around the end of that level, very nice, because I think of the really hardcore NES games, really difficult ones, they rarely ever gave you a potion that healed you completely right before a mini boss and end game boss.
Right.
But this game does it, and if you falter in, God forbid, in that stupid annoying maze level, you go through the wrong door and have to go back. When you reach that last little area again, you can hit that potion again, grab it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the game does have forgiving portions. Unfortunately, they're close to the end of the freaking game.
Right.
There's one particular mini-boss I want to cover, and that's the Griffin mini-boss.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
This guy... Now, I will admit that I use the invincibility key to go through here, but this guy seemed to me like he would have been a pain in the ass to kill. He takes a bit too much damage, and his attacks cover most of the screen.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be as hard as, the freaking floor flowers, but he's up there.
Yes, he is.
It's okay, though.
But that really covers most of my complaints. If you can get past these complaints that I've got, then you will have no problem with this game. Berg actually beat it in one sitting, one day. I went through it in one sitting in one day, but I
played it Saturday, and I woke up today, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to play this game. 5 minutes later, I finished it.
Not 5 minutes.
Okay, half an hour or an hour.
That sounds about right, because you were halfway done.
Yeah, and then apparently last night I did some things while I was really sleepy.
Yes.
Yes.
How about positive criticisms?
Positive criticisms?
Well, come on, you can have positive critiques.
Despite this being a really bad game, at the same time, it's actually a really good game.
If this game were so shitty, it would be Game of the Year.
To be fair, again, only half of this game is ridiculously awful and trying to rape your grandparents.
Hey! Damn!
You leave my grandparents alone.
I hate half of this game so much that I'm going to call it that, okay? But the other half is actually a generic and relatively fun platformer.
Generic fun. Good old generic fun. I'm waiting for some great JPEGs of this generic fun for the family.
Oh, sure. Just have generic fun over the vertical scrolling sections. Fine. There you go.
Yeah, have fun with it.
You had with the maze level, Burke, I figured it out really easy.
I did too. I didn't even get stuck on that. I just thought it was really stupid.
Well, yeah, it's a stupid thing to have a maze level, but at the same time, it's also kind of tradition to have a maze level.
Yeah, I guess. If this game could have been any more generic, it would have.
Yeah. Again, this is really a basic and simple platformer at its core. It's just that half the game fucking hates me.
Oh, it's just the game. Just the first half of the game has really weird enemy placement. Then around the end of the game, it just gets so incredibly easy. You just burn right through it.
Right. I noticed that too, actually. During the last chronological half of the game, the enemy placement actually seemed to get a hell of a lot better.
The four levels, the 4 and 5 levels are hard. Those are really hard.
They're
hard, but at the same time, they're at least forgiving. They're at least somewhat forgiving compared to levels 1 and 3.
Yeah, well, I don't find 1 and 3 that hard. But the 5, the later levels, Jesus Christ, are very difficult.
I didn't really see that much difficulty spike in the last half, on the last chronological half at least.
I think basically what happened
I don't know.
is they were like, if you can beat this first half, then we'll give it to you.
Yeah, seriously, that's pretty much how it goes. So, I guess we're kind of cutting it a little short here, but how about overall?
Final thoughts.
Yes, final thoughts, guys. Come on.
Well, Corbinik, since you haven't really been talking, how about your final thoughts? Exactly what I thought.
Ken and Corby went AFK on us.
He purposely did this. Anyway, my final thoughts. I actually do like this game. As much as I do hate it, I
love
really,
you.
I really like this game.
I've been talking this whole time, and I just noticed that my red plug for my microphone was unplugged. I'm looking at my microphone, and I see the green light. I'm like, oh, I'm not muted. Why can't they hear me?
You thought we were ignoring you?
Ah, no, yeah, honestly.
Now we're kind of curious how much you actually said.
Yeah, kinda. Let's do the whole podcast again from the start. Okay, welcome to the random podcast of bullshit.
No, Bert.
No, okay.
I
no.
am your... What? Okay.
Well, I'll summarize up my point of view on this as fast as I can.
Okay.
Well, I like the game. I mean, the hitboxes really piss me off.
Bad.
Yeah, they're really bad. Like, I mean, really bad. As you guys already talked, I heard you guys, and fuck life.
Yeah, fuck life.
But
that's the theme of the podcast.
yeah, fuck life. The podcast of fucking life.
Wait, that's a new title. The podcast of
shit.
fuck life.
And the bosses themselves weren't hard at all. Mostly, for the most part.
Now that I just looked up that Trident boss, and it's that stupid tree motherfucker. That guy was kind of annoying.
I didn't get that
annoying,
far.
but it really depends on your playstyle.
Yeah,
I didn't get that far.
Yeah, he's kind of far.
The only boss I really had a problem with from where I got to was obviously that fucking
Armored guy.
rock guy. Yeah.
The rock golem. Yep.
That's the only guy I really had a problem with. The music wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. There wasn't a lot of music, but
No, there wasn't a lot, but I mean, for what it was, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was there? The spell was kind of overpowered.
Well, it needed to be, dude.
yeah. Well, yeah, honestly, because I can't imagine beating some of those later levels without that thing.
Yeah.
That thing was a lifesaver.
I can't imagine beating some of the earlier levels without it.
Right. Oh, look, 3 floor flowers in a row. Good luck.
Yeah.
Here's your sign. Here's your sign.
But
It says
honestly,
you're screwed.
I don't know if Core feels the same way, that a lot of the reason that this game is difficult is just because of wonky game design.
Yeah.
Like Looney Tunes.
Well,
So, what would you rate this in, Corb?
what would I rate this? For what it was? About 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was just very...
7.5, maybe?
No, I mean, I enjoyed it, but...
IGN score?
Yes.
Yes, IGN score.deck. But, it was a good game for what it was. But it was just a little too hard, and the hitboxes were just a little too off for me.
Yeah. Well, the hitboxes are... God, hitboxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like...
So, yeah.
Care that?
I enjoyed parts of this game. I really did. I thought the cutscenes were actually pretty cool, and I actually felt a small bit of connection with the character. I know
What?
I'm not supposed to,
What?
but
Wait. Let me kick Grenade from the call real quick. Let me kick him out. I can't believe you just said that. You just ruined...
I paid attention during the cutscenes and was giggling at them the whole entire way.
Really?
Okay?
How do you feel guys with any of these characters? They're so cliche.
Yeah, they're ridiculously cliche, just like me.
You know, why? Just
Wait,
why?
who's holding this call? Because if I kick Grenade and it ends this call, I'm going to be mad as hell.
I'm not hosting, but
I'm
no.
hosting. I won't kick him. So what's your score?
My score on this is actually 6 out of 10, slightly above average.
Wow, Grenade just stole my score.
There is a lot of potential in this game to make it fun and replayable. I'm never touching this thing again.
Yeah. I was kind of tempted to play it a few minutes ago just because it's kind of fun.
There are parts of it that are fun, and if I'm going to replay those parts, I'm using the level select code.
God.
I won't play through this game without cheating. Screw you all.
Just turn
I
it.
admit it.
Turn in your gamer card. Just turn it in. You don't need any more.
I'm trying to play Swordcraft Story 2 without cheating now.
Cool. You, Shadow, score?
So where was I? Oh yeah, I did like this game. There were certainly.
Did it live up to your memories from childhood?
Oh yes, there were certainly a lot of issues with this game that really frustrated me. But at the same time, I did like the game, and for some reason, it's one of those games where you're like, I'm so mad at this game, I'm gonna beat it. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what you're
just
thinking.
to spite it. Just to spite the game.
Just like Great Cave Offensive.
And that's how I felt about this game.
Yeah, that's how I felt actually. The very first level, the very first part, I was getting pretty angry, and I was about to quit the game already. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this game. I'm gonna teach this game who's boss. I'm gonna throw this game on the ground and take it. I'm just gonna take the game.
But yeah,
You're gonna take cake.
for what it was worth, it's not a bad game. It could certainly be improved upon. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Huh. Okay, you got 2 7s.
Alright, Cloud, you're up.
Well, first of all, like I mentioned before, I felt that this game was it doesn't match up with the circumstances under which it was built under. Then again, my video game history is not that good. 1990 is a pretty late year for video games. I mean, Streets of Rage, which is vaguely reminiscent to me of this game because I actually played it. That came out in like 91, and I would definitely play Streets of Rage over this thing.
And okay, this was released in North America in 1990, but it was actually released in December 21st of 1989.
Well, the American consumer decides when things are made. Gerda, you know that. This game, from what I've seen of it, it looks very unimpressive, and it has a lot of technical issues. And it's cliche. It's extremely cliche.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this game a 5.
Fucking Christ! There goes my other score. Damn. So no, I have to go. Fine. I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. No, I'm not. Let's give this a deserved 10 out of 10. Honestly, this game is really generic in every single way, and it wouldn't. If this game was generic and technically sound, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. If I was gonna say, you know what, this game is generic, but it's sound. The mechanics are sound, but it's not. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. That being said, it's the most positive 4.5 out of 10 I can give a game. Which means it's not good, but you can conceivably play this game and have fun.
So he's pretty much saying that it's not good, but it's almost a 5.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It could be a guilty pleasure.
Like cheesecake. Cheesecake.
Now, that's not fair. Cheesecake is generally good. It's just horrendously bad for you.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure.
Saturated fat, yeah.
And God forbid I get any fatter.
Hey, have some angel food cake. Oh, that's right. It's raw corn syrup.
Okay, we need to make a food podcast now.
Alright, guys. I think that pretty much wraps us up.
Yeah, I think it does. Well, thank you all for listening. Shoutouts to Southpaw for listening.
Yeah, our one and only listener. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
We love you.
Yes.
We might be on hiatus for a little bit, but
we'll get. It's not really a hiatus. We are restructuring.
Yes, we will be restructuring our system, and we hope to see you all really soon with our next video.
Should be in about a year.
Hopefully, this doesn't mean I get canned.
Yeah, Grenad's pretty close to getting canned.
So, this has been Shadow Wolf.
This has been Cloud.
This has been Dirtburger163.
Motherfucker. This has been Vega Burger 666.
Angered at 14, signing off.
Yeah.
Later.
We'll see you guys. Fuck you guys.
Until next time.
Yeah.